According to the U.S. Council of Economic Advisors 2018 report, malicious cyber activity cost the United States economy between $57 and $109 billion in 2016. Most people probably either know someone that has been or have themselves been the victim of a cyber attack. However, if you know good cyber security practices, it is possible to reduce this risk in the future. Cybersecurity is the protection of online systems from threats such as hacking and malware, including the infamous CryptoLocker attack, which, according to a blog run by Norton, an antivirus software company, held 500,000 victims' files ransom. I'm a computer science major with a long-standing interest in cybersecurity threats and advancements. Today, I'd like to tell you a few things about how you can reduce the risk to your personal data in the future. Arguably the most important point that I'm going to tell you is updating your devices. It's followed by securing wireless networks, backing your data, and learning to protect your accounts from phishing attacks. To explain these practices, I'm going to use some information from the US CERT NCAS website. As I said, keeping your devices up to date is very important, because if you're using outdated software, that means that your device has vulnerabilities on it that have been fixed in newer versions, and are also well known at that point. However, you should be careful about updating your device's software, and only use updates directly from the vendor. This is because third-party distributors may include malware. You should also make sure to only install updates on networks that you trust. Now that I've covered updates, let's look at a more obvious point: networks. Securing wireless networks, if done properly, is very difficult. However, what I'm going to tell you about, while much simpler and easier, is still useful. You should make sure to set the encryption protocol to the strongest available, preferably WPA3 AES. You should also change the name of your network. This is because the default name reveals the manufacturer, which in turn reveals the unique vulnerabilities that manufacturer has. Then you should also change the configuration login information for the router, because the default is typically either admin password or something else that is available on the manufacturer's website. You should also make sure to disable remote access and WPS connections, as this mode of connection bypasses the need for a password. Now that I've covered securing networks, let's look at how to protect your data locally. This is done with backups. You should always keep an external device as a backup of your systems. You should always keep it current. Preferably, you should keep it offline, because this closes most avenues of attack. Well, the main point of the backup is so that if your device gets infected, you can't get rid of the virus with normal antivirus software. You can reload a slightly older version, which will typically purge the virus completely. Now you know how to save your local data. How about your accounts? Protecting accounts from phishing attacks is much more complicated. This is because phishing attacks are generally designed to prey off our natural reactions, just like phishing preys off a fish's natural reactions. Something to keep in mind, though, is that legitimate companies will never ask for your personal logon information. You should also watch out for red flags such as spelling and grammar errors, and hyperlinks that, when you hover over them, show something different from what it appears initially. Next to watch out for is unsolicited emails with attachments. This is a common tactic that phishers will try to use to trick people into downloading malware. Now that I've talked about avoiding phishing, you should be equipped to protect yourself from most common cyber threats. In conclusion, while there are many other practices you can use, these are the essential ones to minimize the risk to your data. Remember, keep your devices up to date, and secure your network to lock out attackers. Then keep current backups that if you do get infected, you don't lose any data. Finally, watch out for suspicious links so you don't give out your data in a phishing attack. I'd like to close with a quote from Stefan Napo for your consideration. The 5 most efficient cyber defenders are anticipation, education, detection, reaction, and resilience. Thank you for your time.